So this set I have not edited. This is just all rough footage, and we're just gonna see. We're gonna see what I get up to and what I record and how many times my head gets in the way, because I just feel like putting an unedited video up. So that's what we're gonna do. You can see my little rig here for my light, because my light's too small, so I have to set it up with candles. And even then I still bump it like crazy. Anywho, if I can just get started. Like I said, this is unedited. This is all raw footage. Yep, there's my face. Pardon me. Oh my gosh, why is it taking me so long to get started? I should have just cut this first bit out, so apologies. Sometimes I wonder why my appointments with some of my clients take so long. Well, I guess this is part of it. We just talk a good chunk of the time before starting. I actually don't know what we were doing right here. Here we go, finally. Goodness gracious. Started filming. It took a minute, 38 seconds to get started. So yeah, we are just filing the old product, and I'll just let you watch. I don't, unless I have something particular to say, I will just let you watch it in peace, and then I will come back if I have something to say or explain, or if I just have something on my brain that I want to talk about. But for the time being, we're just removing, and also it is a good opportunity for me to see what areas I am wasting too much time on and what areas I can do a lot faster and don't need to waste so much time doing and focusing on. So that's kind of what I like these videos for personally. But anyway, I hope that you can learn something from this, have a takeaway of some sort, or just learn what not to do, because I am definitely not the fastest nail tech on the planet, as you can probably already see. And yeah, apologies in advance for my head getting in the way quite often. I still have not figured out a perfect camera angle. Also, I need to get a new stand. I think I mentioned that in one of my last videos, but I need to get a new stand for my phone, or holder for my phone, so I can so the angle can be like right above the nails, so my head doesn't constantly get in the way like it does whenever I have a ring light that is a stand, and then it holds your phone. But it doesn't seem to matter which side I put it on. My head somehow still gets in the way. So we shall see. Anyway, I'll shut up so you can watch. So you can watch my head, apparently. Jeez Louise. Okay, so I stopped talking for 2 seconds and then I was like, oh wait, I do want to say something. So you might be wondering if you're still watching. You might be wondering why I'm going back over the same nails that I just filed. I feel like I'm always trying different techniques when it comes to removing product, because with dual forms, you're not just taking off the top layer and that's it. Especially depending on the color change, or if they're just going to stick with clear, or if it's, so for instance, I think with her last set, it was just clear hard gel that I used. And then for the set that I am going to be doing on this video, I think we changed it up. So basically, if I'm changing up the color of the base, like the hard gel, then I'm going to be filing off more product. Also, if they've gone like a little too long, like longer than the 4 weeks. Ooh, there's a cardinal. Always so pretty. Anyway, if they've gone longer than the 4 weeks, I will tend to take off, like debulk way more of the product as well, because it's just more prone to have pocket lifts, or, you know, especially if they've gotten a little long for the client and they've told me, oh yeah, I hit this nail, I hit that nail, like I jammed it, then I will tend to file down more product and get it relatively thin, just to make sure there's no damage underneath the surface. And like, I don't want to file off just the bare minimum hard gel and then there's lifting underneath all of that could be, you know, just creating bacteria, greenies, all that jazz. Like, we don't want that. But by the same token, so what I did here, I filed off, God, this is taking way too long. Like, I should have been basically done with removal by now. But as you can see, this is one of my clients that she's also a very close friend, and we get to chatting, and then I just don't even realize how many times I stop entirely instead of working while I'm talking. So yeah, after 8 minutes, I'm on to the next hand. Like, that's crazy. What I was trying, that's what I was starting to say earlier, and I got sidetracked, but what I was trying was a different technique as far as the removal, just kind of like going, angling my bit down, just pulling down each nail, and then going around the edges and then getting the lifting. But as you can see, that does not help me go any faster. If anything, it probably just took more time. So yeah, all of that being said, to my point earlier with explaining like how I do dual forms, if the client comes back, say like 3 weeks after, or right at 4 weeks, and they don't have a ton of grow out, not really, you know, any lifting, then I will file less product, and it's a little bit more like a fill, but I'm still using dual forms again, so it's always the same price, because I'm doing the same process. Pardon me. Goodness. I don't know why I'm yawning so much. Anyway. Just so people know, I know there are not a ton of people in the US that are, and I feel like they're getting more popular, but dual forms aren't quite as common still here in the US as just a regular, you know, acrylic or gel over tips, or like Gel X, things like that. So I just like to explain why I do what I do when it comes to dual forms, so people kind of have a better understanding of what they're saying. And I need to take my nose spray. I can tell that my nose is starting to get stopped up. Allergies are horrible right now. Not that anyone cares. I'm just chatting to you like you're my friend, so. There you go. There's some free information. And I'm sitting outside, if you can tell, because I'm sure you can hear birds and cars going by in the background. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy. Also, if anyone is watching and you just want to get to certain parts, I haven't fully learned how to do the whole timestamp thing, but I'll figure it out. Just in case anyone wants to skip forward. Maybe I can figure out how to do that for this video. I'm definitely seeing what eats up my time. That's for sure. Which I feel like debulking plus filing and shaping has always been one of the things I've struggled with as far as timing. But we will get there. We will get it figured out. I will figure out a system for doing nails, like just the debulking and reapplication, and then I will figure out how to get my time down for my nail art as well. So this particular client, like I said earlier, not only is she a good friend of mine, so we always have so much to chat about. And thankfully she has a flexible schedule, so we usually can take our time and just chat. But also she always gets my favorite types of designs. Like usually, pardon me, usually there's always some kind of chrome isolation involved. And typically very intricate nail art, which I love. Like it's like ethereal, intricate nail art is probably some of my favorite types of nail art to do. Pardon me. That being said, for me personally, very time consuming. So, because Goodness gracious. So yeah, I need to practice more, even if it's on, pardon me, goodness. Even if it's on my, like press-ons. And figure out how to go faster with the nail art. Because honestly, sometimes the more I just flow with the nail art without overthinking it is usually when it turns out the best, and it doesn't, like, it's quicker. I don't know if that makes any sense, but if you're a nail tech or someone who does your nails at home, it'll probably make sense to you. Like, if, I don't know, sometimes the more I overthink the nail art and the longer that I take on it and the slower that I go with it, sometimes, not every time, but sometimes it is not always my best. So yeah, that is something that I'm trying to learn how to just get in the zone and flow with it and not overthink it so much and just trust myself a little bit more each time. Okay, so it looks like I finally finished with the sanding band, and here I'm going in with the flame bit. Those are usually my favorite to do cuticle work. Although I do the actual like cuticle nipping at the end. I've explained this before in other videos, but in case this is someone's first time watching this or watching this process in general with dual forms, some people do the cuticle work before, and you can. It's not like it's just the way that you file afterwards with with dual forms. No. It makes more sense to nip the cuticles after the fact. And you'll see once we get to that part, because once you pop off the dual forms, everything looks, really good. You look at it like, oh, I don't really have much work to do. And you really don't have a ton to do, but you still have to file with a small carbide bit around the cuticle area. Pardon me. So because of that, it just makes more sense to cut the cuticles after, especially with clients that have sensitive cuticles, or like that skin around the cuticle area is sensitive. So that is kind of the reason for that, because if you're going around the cuticles and basically touching them very lightly, but still touching them nonetheless, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to cut them first where you have sensitive new skin that could be potentially cut with the carbide bit. If that makes sense. So as you just saw, I dehydrated the nails with some alcohol and a brush. That's my favorite way. Just ensures that everything gets out of there. And I let that dry, and then I go in with the primer and base coat, which is what I'm doing right here. I just kind of scrub the base coat in. Got a little bit on the sidewall there. Anyway, I scrub the base coat in, let that cure both hands, and then it is time to apply the dual forms. So in this next part, you're going to see I have already sized the dual forms. I am applying the hard gel. This is a hard gel that I ended up taking back or sending back, I should say, and getting a refund for because it was not curing properly. It ended up, it cured all the way, but it just took way too long. Hard gel shouldn't take that long to cure like this one did. So you're going to see me struggle bussing a little bit because I am used to, once I have, the hard gel in the dual form, I apply it, cure at the cuticle area, literally like 2 seconds, bam, flip it over, wipe out the underside. Like that's what I'm used to doing. And this one, I tried doing that and it created bubbles because it was not fully cured like I thought it was, like I'm used to it being. And it's the same brand. It's the IBD, I believe is the brand, IBD gel, hard gel. But I usually get the clear. And I tried this like pale pink. And I don't know if it was just, I don't know if it's all the IBD gels that are this color that do the same thing, or if it's just a one-off case of this particular jar that I got that was, I don't know what happened there, but 10 out of 10 do not recommend. I might give it a try another time. We'll see. Because I also really want to try the MG Art gels that I have not tried yet. So I think that is going to be my next purchase. But anyway. Also, I am out of frame a little bit here, as you can see, so apologies for that. I tried moving the camera so I could capture the actual application of the dual forms and curing, but I forgot. Hello, Ashley, I'm still applying gel right here, so I did it all a little bit too much in advance, if that makes sense. See, as you can see, it took a little bit longer than just a few seconds like I'm used to. I was having to hold it there and hold it there and hold it there before finally I could feel. That's the thing, you can feel, pardon me, whenever you apply the dual forms, it wiggles around, of course, because it's just uncured gel. And then whenever you stick it under that lamp, usually you immediately feel it like tighten, and you try to wiggle it and you can't. And I wasn't feeling that tightness. So I was like, wait, this is not curing as fast as it's supposed to. It's very frustrating, but we got through it. So at this point, I didn't really know what was going on, and I thought maybe it was my light, because I have had this gooseneck UV light for quite a while. So I was like, okay, maybe it's the light itself. Maybe that's just not working. I wasn't sure at the time if it was the gel or not. So that's why I brought my pin light out too. And I'm like, nope, it's doing the same thing with the pin light. And I just got this. So I knew I just got it. I just charged it. I knew that was not the issue. Because I had tested it on nail art and gel before using it on my client. So I knew that it wasn't the light. And I had it really close to the nail too. And it still wasn't doing anything. So I was like, yeah, this is the hard gel. And my very next client after this client, I used my other brand of clear hard gel, and it did perfect. So I was like, yeah, it's not the light. That's when I deduced that it was indeed this particular IBD hard gel. And I'm pretty sure with this nail in particular, when I tried having her hold the light and cure it, I think I released it at one point and got bubbles like I did in a couple of the other nails, which thankfully, I mean, they were, pardon me, very small bubbles. So it was something that I was able to just file over. I think I filed it with a sanding band. I don't know. We'll see here in a little bit. So it wasn't anything drastic, but just annoying more than anything. So this part, just for anyone that's wondering, I take off the dual forms, pop them off, and then you can't see it because I'm out of frame, but I am taking an alcohol on a wipe, or some alcohol on a wipe, and wiping off the inside and outside of the nails and then putting them back. So just in case anyone's wondering, I don't just take them off and put them right back in. I always wipe them off first. I do not know what the heck I was talking about right there, but I obviously cannot talk without my hands. I really wish I knew what I was talking about right there. So yeah, I am finishing this video on a different day, which is why I sound a little bit less stopped up than I did the other day when I started this voiceover. In case anyone wonders or cares. Yeah, that goofy gel curing situation, it would have taken... Oh my goodness. It typically just applying the dual forms, curing them, and then having the client go in the lamp takes, I want to say like 5 minutes. It doesn't take long at all. And yeah, with this, 1 second, baby. And this time around it took, I don't know, I didn't look at the exact time, but maybe like 20 minutes or something. Took a whole lot longer, I know that. So yeah, all of the spots in between here where I'm not talking, it's easier just to leave it silent instead of adding music to all the blank spots. And I haven't figured out yet how to just have music constantly going in the background. That way you can hear the music whenever I'm not doing the voiceover part. So hopefully I can figure that out one day. It might just be the editing app that I use too, because I currently use CapCut. So I'm sure Adobe Premiere or one of those other editing apps have more options. So yeah, for this portion, I'm just, golly, taking my sweet time, that's for sure. I'm basically getting the length that the client wants and then doing like the general shape of what they want. This client in particular likes closer to stiletto, but not entirely. So like a mixture. Like Young Nails says, they call it almanetto. I don't know if anyone coined that term before them or not, but that's just where I first heard that combination of nail shapes. So yeah, I just try to get it relatively close to where it's just really narrow on the ends, with the carbide bit that I use to remove the product in the beginning, and then it just makes the rest of the steps faster. I will use the same bit, and there I go again with my hands. What the heck was I doing? I don't know what I was saying. This is part of the reason why it takes so long with some of my gals that I'm close with, that I'm stopping instead of just working while I talk, because clearly the hands must move the way that I want them to express what I'm trying to get across. I don't know. Oh my God, I want to smack my own hand. Stop it. Anyway, this same carbide bit I'm using to kind of roughly shape, and then I will go underneath and file a good amount. That way when I'm using the hand file to file the actual shape, it doesn't take as long, and it's just a lot easier. So this is where I have learned to not to do any more unnecessary steps. I just did a client's nails the other day, and I did the whole set and design in right at 2 hours, I would say. Possibly a little bit under, maybe like an hour and 50 minutes. And I was very proud of myself, for one, because that is, for me, that's pretty quick. But I just forced myself to not repeat steps like you saw me do here. Because so you can have like a little glimpse into my brain if I can communicate it properly. So I filed everything with a hand file. Then I went over the surface with the buffer. Okay, well then after you buff the nails or go over them with a sanding band, whichever way you get like the surface scratched up, it kind of highlights any other little imperfections, if you will. And I tend to like hyper focus on those particular imperfections, and then that's why I pull out my other instruments. So then I'm like, okay, hand file, I need to file that. Instead of remembering, no, you don't, leave it alone, it'll be fine. You're going to go over it and perfect it at the end. So it'll be fine. So I made myself do that with every single step. With this previous client that I was talking about. And yeah, wow, what a difference it made. I believe that her last set that I did on her, not this client, but the client that I'm referring to, that I did the other day, her previous set, it was just like a solid hot pink and like a pearl glaze on top. Shouldn't take that long. And I'm pretty positive it took me 3 hours. And then this set that I did just a few days ago, there were like 2 nails that were solid, 1 French, and 2 like swirly abstract French, if that makes sense, and flowers, polka dots, all the things. And that took me like a little less than 2 hours. So I've always known that that's part of the problem, is that I just keep going over and repeating steps and just taking too long, trying to perfect the shape when I first pull out the hand file, knowing that I'm just going to keep using the hand file later on in the process. And yeah, so that just eats up your time like crazy. So learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. If you want to get quicker. If not, then do whatever you want. But if you are like me and you are a chronic perfectionist and obviously talker with your hands, like I am, that clearly is something that I need to work on too with specific clients. But yeah, that's just something to note, that might help you if you're going back over the same areas over and over and over again, which for me in particular, it's always like the filing and shaping. So yeah, just a little thought. So I recorded the whole process of me doing the nail art for this video, for this particular client. So I think I'm gonna just cut it here and show you the finished product, but I might do the whole walkthrough of the nail art in another video, because this video is already going on so freaking long to begin with. Jesus. It's always a tug of war, because sometimes I want to do just the full appointment, and it also makes it easier to not have to edit a whole lot. But then I'm thinking about like people that actually watch it and maybe want it shorter. Although I like watching full appointment nail videos, so maybe some other people do too. I don't know. But yeah, I think I'm going to do the nail art in a separate video. So hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Bye.